Let's begin as always by settling our bodies into our meditation posture. So our legs are crossed if we are sitting on a cushion, either in a full lotus or half lotus, left foot on top, or in a regular cross-leg position. If you're sitting on a chair, your back is straight. And your feet planted on the floor. And we allow our backs to naturally straighten up, as if we were being pulled by a string running up through the crown of our head, so that our neck naturally tilts down, our shoulders naturally relax, even the muscles around our back, they naturally relax. And our hands are resting in our lap, either in the meditation mudra, left hand inside the right hand on top of the left hand, and thumbs lightly touching, almost in the shape of a teardrop. Elbows a little bit away from the body to allow air to flow through, keep our alertness. Our gaze is about 2 meters on the floor in front of us. Eyes half open, not really looking at anything. Just enough to allow some light to come in and keep us alert in the meditation. And don't forget to relax the muscles in your face, where all the tension is being held. The eyebrows, the jaw, the forehead. Release all that tension there. And finally, our tongue is resting on our upper palate, just behind the front row of teeth. This is a posture that aligns our physical and our subtle bodies. This is the foundation of our meditation practice. And now we shift our attention gently to our breath, our object of meditation, on which we are developing single pointedness, single pointed concentration. You can watch the breath either at your abdomen as it rises and falls, or at the very tip of your nose, the sensations as your breath flows in and out there. Find the spot and rest your attention lightly there. Notice that every time you return your attention back to the breath, your other thoughts or whatever distracted you just fall away. They just dissolve back into the space of the mind they came from. This is like when we're reading a book we really enjoy. Nothing else is really coming to our heads. We are single pointedly there with the story. This is what we are cultivating in this meditation. Allowing everything else to fall away just by nature of holding our attention on one object. So allow this process to happen. No need to push thoughts out of your head. Relax your mind and body if needed, back onto the flow of the breath. Again and again. So I will allow people to leave if they want to continue meditating on the Zoom room. And for others, as we gently return to our surroundings and open our eyes, see if you can maintain that thread of attention, of presence, as you return to your surroundings. Even as you slowly move your bodies. So the floor is now open for any questions people that have arisen over the week of practice about shamatha, your meditation practice. No crazy questions, we can save those for Kabirji, but just about shamatha and meditation. Any issues you've run into. So I would also like to share something about this practice, shamatha. It's like working a muscle. We are working a muscle of our mind. And yeah, still in waking up mode. I think we are. Um, yeah, it is like working a muscle in the mind. And the way that we do a push up, and even just one push up is already strengthening that muscle. It doesn't matter if we just do one push up daily, we're still strengthening that muscle. And in the same way, this shamatha practice, every time we return our attention back to the breath, back to the breath, back to the object, we are working on that muscle of cultivating attention, single pointed attention. And so there is no good or bad meditation. There's no, oh, I didn't meditate as well today. I was distracted today. Even if you are more distracted, sorry, it looks like I dropped off the Zoom. So even if you are more distracted one meditation and more drowsy another day, every time in that meditation that you return your attention back to the breath, you are working on that muscle. It's like one extra push-up that you've done. So I just wanted to share that one thing about this practice, because sometimes it's easy to get frustrated with ourselves if we're too distracted, and we criticize ourselves very easily. But every push-up you do is a good one. It's beneficial. So nobody on Zoom or person has any questions? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
While in meditation, I know that I'm not asleep, but what is it, the body sleeps? Because you have these jerks at times.
Like your body will jerk, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
How does one understand?
Yeah, yeah. So the question is, Yeah, okay. And actually, a similar question just came in the chat. Any form of meditation that we can use? Oh, okay. That's actually the opposite question. So I'll answer the in-person question first. When we are feeling drowsy in the meditation, what is that? Because you aren't asleep, but you are, maybe you're jerking a little bit, or you feel that you are falling asleep. So when our mind has a tendency to either fall into uh, hyper alertness or activity, where we are very distracted, where even little sounds are distracting us from our object, or into drowsiness or laxity, it's called, which is when our mind sort of goes into this dull state. It's a dull state, and we sort of lose this focus and this clarity of our mind. And so these are things that we need to check up on at the same time as we're practicing the shamatha, the single pointedness. And so you'll notice a couple days ago, I brought up this, I think on Wednesday's meditation, I brought up this watching, this using 10% of your attention to also watch the quality of your awareness. Am I falling asleep? Am I way too distracted? And there are ways you can counteract that also. There are antidotes to this. So for laxity and dullness, the first thing we can do is check our posture. So is our are we uh, is our back spine curving a little bit? That can lead to laxity. We can straighten up our spine then, which will help the airflow through our bodies, and apne aap we will get that alertness back in our mind. Is our neck tilted too far downwards? That means, more liable to falling asleep. We can lift our heads a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. We can also um, we can shift our attention to a more subtle object. For example, if we were watching the tip of the nostril, we can we can shift to feeling the sensations around in the nose as the breath flows in and out. And even we can label them, we can make observations about them to keep the mind a little bit active. So, for example, Alan Wallace talks about making observations such as, okay, my breath is sharp, my breath is short, it's long, it's soft, it's heavy. These little observations without judgment, just for a couple seconds, whatever we need to get our mind alert again. One more is you can open your eyes a little bit more. Having our eyes fully closed can very much lead to drowsiness. Cracked open or half open. So yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah. And then another question in the chat is a form of meditation that we can use for falling asleep. Not this meditation. This meditation is for cultivating. I mean, we would like to make sure we are not falling asleep in this meditation and actually cultivating alertness. And it's a practice we can come back to in daily life also if we are, so it is a grounding, a focusing meditation. Calm abiding is the other word for it, shamatha. Um, for falling asleep, there is a form of meditation called yoga nidra. Um, it is basically going to, and you can look up, you can Google, or if you have an app like Insight Timer, you can look up meditations, yoga nidra. I'll type the name into the chat. You may have heard of it. It literally means sleep meditation. And it basically goes through each point of the body. You go from your right leg, your toes, your ankle, your shin, your knees, your thighs, and then the left leg, and every part of your body, all the way up through your arms, through your head, and relaxes each part of the body. So one by one, you go through and you relax each toe, the knee, every muscle. And through that, you induce yourself into sleep. You relax the body. And because the body and the mind are one system, you relax your mind also. And that can help to induce sleep. So I hope that helps. You can, yeah, Google. I would suggest not to use this meditation for sleeping also, because then it can sort of affect your meditation here when you join here in sitting meditation. If you start to use the same meditation to help you fall asleep, then it will affect the quality of your meditation when you are sitting here. It will make you sleepy every time you practice this. So we don't want to mix those two. So yeah, I would suggest looking up Yoga Nidra meditations for that. Yep, thank you. Any other questions or online? So we'll just dedicate very briefly for today's practice and the whole week of practice. For those who have been joining me this week, we dedicate to continue practicing this really important practice, and just having a daily practice is such a big thing. It makes so much difference in our lives. And we dedicate to all those who may not have the opportunity to practice in this life. And we practice on their behalf. We carry them with us in our meditation. We always dedicate the merit to those who don't have this opportunity. And we dedicate to our teachers we have met in this life, and to meeting them again and again, to meeting this practice again and again in future lives. And we dedicate to the long lives of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all our other teachers, Geshe Dorji Damdullah. May all their holy wishes be fulfilled in this life and beyond. So thank you for joining me this week. Tomorrow we have a Medicine Buddha Puja at the center and online. That is also a form of meditation and mind training. It's a more tantric practice in the Vajrayana tradition. But definitely, if you have never joined a puja before, I would suggest to join it and see what it's like, and see what how it affects your mind. Just listen in. That's tomorrow, Saturday at 11 a.m. And we won't have our regular Sunday teaching session. And we'll be back in this morning meditation space on Monday. So thank you so much for joining. And on the weekend, see if you can keep practicing regular 8:30 a.m. on your own. You don't need anything. You can just set a timer for yourself and just see if you can practice on your own 20 minutes. And just in daily life, You're on the metro, just return to the breath. You feel you're getting agitated, return to the breath. It's always there, like an anchor. So yeah, thank you. Have a lovely Friday, everyone, and weekend.